that Swami Kriyanandaji, uh, he wrote and sang. It's very short, but I think he sang what we all have felt in our life as well. Through a long and lonely night, I whispered your name. Through the pains and joys of life,
I whispered your name through the
my
pains and
plea
joys of
stays
life.
the same.
My plea stays the
Tempt
same.
me no longer. The world's not for me.
Tempt me no longer.
I
This
have
world's
known
not for
all
me.
its charms.
I have known all its
Hold me
charms.
now in your arms.
Hold me now in your
Make
arms.
me free.
Make me free.
These are such beautiful words, and maybe after this I'll play the song, Swamiji singing this for you all. It's very deep when we think about how many lifetimes we've spent seeking truth, seeking light, seeking happiness. How many times we sought it in maybe relationships or money or health, a variety of things. We've gone through many lifetimes in seeking all the things, but we really were seeking God. And the Guru comes to bring us that reality, as Master did, with, first of all, we know the story of that boy Kashi, who Master was with some of the boys at the school. And they were asking, what will happen to me, some of them? Will I be a Sid, or will I marry, or what will happen? And they were just young kids. And the one boy, Kashi, he said, well, what will happen to me? I think he was maybe 12 years old or something like that. And Master looked at him and he said, oh, well, you will die soon. And he felt so badly, Master, that he had to, but it was the truth. He said it. And the boy went away sadly. But then he came back. And I think that's the thing we have to remember. The boy came back.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
we played that role.
It didn't.
And he said to Master, will you find me? Will you look for me and find me and bring me back?
In the Indian culture, could play a little differently, couldn't it?
Thought. And Master first said, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. Then I think it was a test for the boy, because the boy kept pestering him. Then finally Master said, all right, if Divine Mother wants it, I'll do it. He could have done it, but the boy had to keep asking for Master to see he really wanted this to happen. And then what happens?
Diana's
6 months, Master
telling us.
says, I feel the soul of this child, that he's going to be born. Now that leads you to believe he brought him back fast. And then he went, after some time, he went to a home. I think it was just after that 6 months. And he would go around the streets of Calcutta with his hands up. This is how much he was looking for that boy. Think about it. And the people around him, his helpers, whatever, they thought he was going a little bit off. And Master didn't care. He just kept holding his hands up. He said, I'm looking for Kashi. And he found him. And his hands were tingling, and he went to a home on that street where he felt the vibration of the soul. And he went to the door, and the woman was going to have a child in a few months, and Master told them all about this boy and that he's going to be reborn, and he's a saintly soul. And they believed him. I mean, you don't do that in America, but in India.
In India, it works.
Lo and behold, this little child was born, and Master visited him again.
Mm.
And the parents gave him his old name back again.
Yeah.
Kashi. The Master said that when he was 12, he took him or showed him or somehow arranged for him to go and study know who it was, but someone in the Himalayas. And it's such a beautiful story when we think about it. And we think we're alone.
The Himalayan
No one's
yogis.
helping us. I don't get any guidance. I can't meditate. I mean, I hear it over and over. But once we open ourselves,
Deanna hears it over and over from us how we can't meditate.
the help is there.
Oh no. What are we doing, guys?
Come along.
Uh,
We know Babaji with
spine straight.
Mahashaya. He said, I waited 3 decades for you. I waited here for you to come
Deanna.
back to me. And he showed him a cave in Lahiri, didn't remember. He shows him an asan, and his disciple, Lahiri didn't know that at the moment, but he didn't remember that either, and he shows him a bowl. He doesn't remember. No, we don't remember.
Yeah.
We don't remember.
Wow. We don't remember.
The Guru never forgets. So then he touches later in Mahashaya, and he says, I remember.
Hmm.
I remember. You're my Guru. At a certain point, we remember. And he said, this is the cave. This is my cave. That's my asan.
This is my asan.
And we say, hey, those are my Guru Bhais. Oh, I know that altar. I know the chants.
I know these
I know this
chants.
Kriya. I mean, I heard about it before. And
Yeah, I know about this Korea thing. I've heard about this thing before.
How many times do I have to be blessed?
How many times do we have to be
Every
blessed?
satsang, every kriya, every purification, every I don't remember.
I don't remember.
And the Guru
Oh,
just
no.
keeps trying to say, don't
Yeah.
you remember?
Don't you remember
Don't
me?
you remember you? Forget about me. Don't you remember who
Don't
you
you
are?
remember you?
Don't you remember the great soul that you are? And thus, Lahiri remembered from the touch of his Guru. And Swamiji was, I mean, he was completely in another level of awareness, you could say, of consciousness, you could say. And then he finds an autobiography of a yogi, and Master, how did he get there? I mean, we have to realize the Guru's got, he keeps pushing you. Go here, talk to that person, go to the center. And so Swamiji felt at a certain point, he looked at that book, he said, no, I'm not. An American saint, there's no American saints, but there are. He said, there's no American saints, I'm gonna put this book back. And then he was near that store again, and he couldn't move. He could only go in that direction of that bookstore. He said he was pushed to go there. And he goes and he finds the same book that he put down before, and he just read it in tears of joy and tears of whatever, but he get laughter and joy and laughter and joy, and then he gets on the bus, he goes across America,
Yo.
and he
Hi, Big James.
Master. He doesn't know anything about, I mean,
I didn't check my
past
chats.
lives he did, but he didn't know anything
Big James
about
said hello. Big James came through. I sub to you, Big
all these
James.
things, reincarnation.
And my live streams are off limits to you, by the way. Nah. You gotta pay attention. Go do your kid stuff. No, it's not like that. It's just
Master.
yeah, I make all my live streams
And
for
you
adults.
Just imagine the moment, and he's 22 years old. He drops down to his knees.
Cause you might see me
Says, I
do
want to
adult
be your
stuff.
disciple.
I don't know. I don't
That's
really
the
know.
Guru and the
But we
disciple
gotta
that
respect it.
It's like
It's the platform.
It's a bond that's forever. It can never be broken
It's not
unless you break it.
owned by
The
us.
master talks
So
to
we have
him
to
and
pay,
blesses him
play by the,
his heart
it's their rules.
for about 2 minutes. And Swamiji said from
I hope you
then on,
understand and continue to give consideration.
So
That's
this
what
is
I'm out
how
here
it
doing.
happens for all of us as well.
Or
I came on
sometimes.
this path some decades ago, And I just thought, you must have thought, you had to, you wouldn't be in the room. I just thought, it's fresh out of university. And I had
Sometimes adults, we forget to give consideration. I don't think I've heard Deanna's story.
Big Sisters of America.
Story from
the
Deanna.
Children.
No.
I mean, I was there buying things for them, and
maybe I did.
so I saw on the counter this booklet. It wasn't even a book. It was small, and it said meditation. Now I grew up in Los Angeles.
I do remember now. We're gonna use this.
This was in the
mix some chocolate milk.
70s. And gee, I went, wow, what is that? I mean, meditation. Nobody was meditating. I mean, maybe by then Ravi Shankar had come into America, and he was singing and playing, and people were getting this much of India was getting into America. But talk about and Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, he was going to America, but that was it.
It's got a magnet in the base.
Gee, what is this meditation? I mean, I didn't know one person who meditated. And then I started,
milk, and it heats it up, and it's going to melt the chocolate
I mean,
chips.
something just said, just get it, don't think, get it. So I think people overthink.
I had just enough chocolate chips.
Just get it. So I got that, and I was at the park on my lunch break sitting, and I was reading about meditation, and I just was feeling like, wow, there's something about this. I don't know what it is, but I feel good. And you know what happened to me? Have I told you this story before? I'm so glad I didn't. So what happened to me was down from where I was. I was sitting on a bench having my lunch reading this meditation book pamphlet, and down from me was a man sitting on another bench. I couldn't believe he was meditating. He was sitting straight spine. He was. I just was shocked. That was, I thought, my first answered prayer. I had been praying all night long. I said, what is that man doing? And what is this book about? And I ran over to the guy. And he was very poised and, yogic. And I was like emotional. So I said, what are you doing? And the man says, well, I was meditating. I'm just reading. I'm reading. I've always been enthusiastic. I said, I'm reading it. And turned out he taught, and his mom, TM teachers in 1 week. 1 week. I'm carrying fruits and flowers. I don't even know why you carry the fruits. I'm carrying the fruits and flowers to my initiation into TM. And what book did they give me? Not on the day, but soon after. And I went, wow, his face looks familiar. Isn't it? Then I said, I don't understand anything, but his face is familiar. Then I started doing yoga postures. Wow, I said, I feel good. And then I started
I could meditate. Well, a little bit of meditation. I said, this is wonderful. Each step, this is wonderful. Then the boon of all boons came.
She met Kriyananda.
Sorry. It wasn't long after. That somebody, and I know it was Master, somebody told me, Swami Kriyananda. I went, who's he? I mean, I didn't know. What's a Swami? I mean, I didn't know any of these things. He's a great yogi. He lives up in the foothills of the Sierra Nevada mountains, and he trains you. I went, really? I mean, I was just like a child. I got in my car. I drove to Ananda. I didn't know, what is Ananda? My mother kept saying, what does Ananda mean? I said, all I know is Ananda means joy. She said, who is a Swami? Who are you going up there throwing your life away? Anyway, I went. And I meet Jyotish and Daviji. I meet Jaiji. I see these great souls, and then I meet Swamiji. And Swamiji says, this is your home. You should think about living here. Right off, first words, this is your home. And Swamiji I stayed there for a while. He had a harmonium. I never seen a harmonium. He had a tanpur. He would play and sing. And somebody was on tabla, on the side, and he had a gong. And I just, and I love music. I was going, wow, these are all new instruments for me. And he was just awakening our consciousness. Guruji through Swamiji. This is your life. He would show us slides of India. He had been to India. Most people there had never been to India. He said, this is Lahiri Mahashayaji's home. This is Master's house. This is, he showed pictures of saintly people, and we were just like enthralled. Master came to us through Swamiji. And so we ask, what is the promise of the Guru? We have received it. The question is now, what is our promise to the Guru? What is he's already, what else do we need? What is our promise to the Guru? And, Swamiji said, at Mount Washington, it was like a hotel. People came, people left, people came, people left. Master told people don't leave, they left. People came back, they left. The Master wept over one man who left. He said, I told you not to go. The man left. Another lady who said, now he can dematerialize on one hill and materialize on the other. And Master said, okay, whatever. I love what Swamiji said. Of course, no one ever said they saw him do it, but he said he could do it. And Master said something to her that just, you never want to hear it for yourself. He said, okay, I withdraw my ray. That ray is protecting us. That ray is guiding us. That ray is taking us to God, honestly. And so what do? We embrace what our Guru gave us. We embrace him. When we touch someone's feet, we're embracing the vibration. They brought the teachings. We're embracing that. He brought techniques, and he brought us a spiritual family and centers and all that. His grace and blessings, and people are still complaining. I just don't get it. How come this? How come that? How come this? Need, but to put our hand to the plow and go for it, and go all the way with the strength of this path, the strength of our techniques, the strength of our gurus. All the gurus, even with Babaji, even Anyone who calls to Babaji will receive an instantaneous blessing. He said to those who think me near, I'll be near. And Lahiri Mahashayaji, I'm with all those who practice Kriya. You have to want it. You have to really want it. It's not with half of the brain wanting it. And finally, I remember this fellow he would have this picture of his guru in front of him when he did his devotions, and he tossed the flower petals on the picture of the guru. And one day he just was going so deep himself in his own sadhana. He was tossing the flowers, and he just went, oh, what's in my guru doesn't me. And he just started tossing the flowers on his own head. That day has to come. I heard a talk of Swamiji the other day. He said, you have to become like Babaji. Don't just put his picture on the wall. You have to become that essence of God, to take away everything that you're not until it's just the light of God. As you do that, then that day, the Master will just be waiting. He's just waiting. I had a friend who passed away he was very devout Kriyaban. And I would sit, this was some decades back, I sat with him and just kept reading the autobiography as he was passing. And at one point he opened his eyes. He was in a coma. He opened his eyes. Oh, no, I'm not dying anymore. I said, well, how is that? He says, I saw him. I saw him. I saw him. You want to see him? You have to see him. Once you see him, nothing else compares. Let's face it. We're striving for so many things that mean nothing. Let's meditate a moment.
This is how I move forward with Purdue Global. Start your comeback today at purdueglobal.edu.
The redeeming light. So, in the Bhagavad Gita, it is written that not even thousands of suns light can compare to the light of God. It says, if 1,000 suns were to blaze forth together in the sky, they would not match the splendor of that great form of Krishna, of God. All religions, all mythologies, scriptures, whenever they talk about a vision of God, it's always accompanied, remember, with light. They've managed to copy that in our serials also. There's always this flash of light when a devta or a god is arriving. So what is this light? In Autobiography of a Yogi, if you remember, Yogananji is talking to the wife of Lahiri Mahasaya, and she describes an incident which really leaves her awestruck. Again, it was to do with light. Before that, she had been living with Lahiri Mahasaya for years and years, but did not realize his greatness. Let me just read a little bit of that incident to you. It was years, and this is the wife of Lahiri Mahasaya speaking. It was years before I came to realize the divine stature of my husband, Lahiri Mahasaya. One night, in this very room, her bedroom, I had a vivid dream. Glorious angels floated above me. So realistic was the sight that I woke at once, and the room was strangely enveloped in dazzling light. My husband, in lotus posture, was levitated in the center of the room, surrounded by angels who were worshipping him. Astonished beyond measure, I was convinced that I was still dreaming. Woman, Lahiri Mahasaya said, you are not dreaming. Forsake your sleep now, forever and ever. And again from the autobiography, if you remember, when Yogananji left his guru's ashram for some time, thinking that maybe in the Himalayas I'm going to find what I'm really looking for. So he visits the sleepless saint, Ram Gopal Majumdar. And what does he do? They are talking late into the night, and finally Yogananji closes his eyes to sleep, and the saint also closes his eyes. He's meditating. But to Yogananji's surprise, what's happening? He said, as I closed my eyes, there was this dazzling light. I kept it open, my eyes, even then there was dazzling light. If I closed my eyes, there was dazzling light. I could not escape that light. And the next morning, the saint asked him, I hope you slept well. And Yogananji is like, what sleep? There was only light all over. And the saint is very pleased and he says, oh, you are indeed blessed to have seen these divine radiations, right? And even Lahiri Mahasaya, if you remember this rare photograph of his, how was it gotten? There was one disciple of his who wanted very badly to have this photograph of Lahiri Mahasaya, but he refused. One day the disciple just tricked Lahiri Mahasaya into taking one photograph without his knowing. And very proudly he went trying to expose that on the photographic paper and all of that. But what came? Only light. Finally, he had to go to the master and say, I did this and I'm sorry, I thought I'll get it and all of that. He says, give me one day to prepare. And the next day, Lahiri Mahasaya was able to get that much matter into him that a photograph of his could be taken. So these beings of light, they live in their bliss, in their joy of being. They have no actions to perform, they have no duties to discharge, yet they come again and again here in this realm of suffering. Why do they do that? That is when all of us have that yearning, of redemption. We want that redeeming light, we want salvation. Then that message reaches God's heart and He sends His ray of light, right? In the form of one of these self-realized masters. Not only these, many. All of these self-realized masters come down. And when we hold on to their ray of light, then we can find our way back to our own light, to our source, to our home, isn't it? We actually really need that light, that ray of light that these masters bring to us. Why is that? Because we are kind of stuck in something like a spider's web, isn't it? The more solutions we try to find for ourselves, sometimes they bind us even more in this world. Right? Only by holding on to this light, this ray of light that has opened up in this world for us, if we hold on to us, then only slowly and surely we are able to find our way back to the light. Right? When Yogananji said that Jesus Christ, He came to Babaji and He said that my people do good work, but they have lost the art of communing with God. So please send somebody there to the West who can introduce this communion with God again, with Kriya Yoga. So Paramhans Yogananji is prepared by his Guru to take on this task of spreading Kriya Yoga to the world. Even the art of Kriya Yoga itself, when did it come into the world really? In the 1800s? Did it not exist before that? Babaji brought this science rather, to the world through Lahiri Mahasaya only when the yearning and the suffering of all of us reached his heart. And then he gave that permission to Lehari Mahasaya, give Kriya to all those who humbly ask for help. Right? So Kriya Yoga itself is a light of redemption in our age. Isn't it? We've all experienced it in our ways. So all of this comes to us through the infinite grace of these masters. These masters are actually like a Dhruv Tara, isn't it? Like a pole star shining in the sky, unwavering, undiminished light, which always shows us the path, the direction to go. Is this light only the reality of God or all of these self realized masters only? Not really. This light is actually the sole reality of ourselves as well. But the masters, God has that power to switch on this light which is lying dormant within us, right? And to guide us back to where we belong. And this they do through their grace, through their infinite compassion and love for us. But again, if we keep patiently waiting for their compassion to dawn on us, we are not really going to find true freedom. The masters say definitely true freedom will come only by the grace of God, but we have to be active participants in it. And how do we do that? We have to consciously keep our hearts open for God. We have to allow His light to come into the darkness of our deepest beings. We have to develop that devotion deep in our hearts for God, entertain that love for Him. Not only just a belief that, oh yeah, God exists intellectually, all these scriptures say that, but a deep devotion towards God has to be found. Paramhans Yogananji often said, you cannot drive the darkness out of a room by beating at it with a stick. But if you turn on the light, the darkness will vanish as though it had never been. Now, all of our consciousness living in this world is bound to be matter bound. Matter attachment happens. It's very true. We are going to think about matter. We live in this matter conscious world. So, the darkness of sin, the masters say, is inevitable to happen. Right? But how do we get out of this delusion, of this darkness, of this sin? By staying in it, by struggling against it, it will not happen. He said, only by understanding through the clarifying light of God that can we escape from this sin. We have a tendency to say, paap to ho hi jata hai, sin, we are sinners and we do sin and all of that. But reveling in that sin, berating ourselves, judging ourselves constantly, that will help, that will make us stay only in the darkness. What do we do? It's better, they say, to affirm that I am the child of God. Right? I am made from God's light and no darkness can exist within me. So only staying in the consciousness of God, by deep inner communion with that light, can we hope to surpass this darkness and reach the light.
Work confidently while on SSDI with Allsup Employment Services. We can help you participate and find a job that's right for you. We're authorized by the Social Security Administration as a ticket to work service provider.
Why do you consider yourself undeserving? Why are you afraid of love? You think it's not possible for someone like you. But you are the love of my life. Love of my life. The love of my life.
Christ said that the light of the body is the eye, If therefore thine eye be single, thy body shall be full of light. And in the metaphysical meditations, Yogananji also says, I will close my material eyes and dismiss the temptations of matter. I will peer through the darkness of silence till my eyes of relativity open into the one inner eye of light. When my two eyes of good and evil become single and behold only the divine goodness of God in everything, then I shall find my body, mind, and soul filled with His omnipresent light. In this world of relativity, duality, good, bad, light, and dark, when we can transcend that, the masters say, our body will be filled with light. And this is exactly what Christ said when He said, if your eye will be single, your body will be filled with light. When we go beyond duality of this good, bad, sin, evil, all of that, then there is only light. When we accept this duality as reality, because we do that, we want to cling on to joy, but inevitably what happens by after that joy, it's fleeting. Sorrow will come inevitably. Pain will be followed by pleasure, but pleasure will again be followed by
I'm gonna
pain.
go and
And what are we doing?
do some
We
yard
suffer
work.
because we look for permanence. We want
I
to
was just
cling
doing a little
on
bit
to
of yard
only
work.
the joy and the pleasures.